Hi, what's going on, guys? Boy TG, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to do our top 10 takeaways from October of this 2024-25 NHL season. So 1 month of hockey already in the books, and I figured why not do a recap video or just share some of my top 10 takeaways from October of this NHL 2024-25 season. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started as soon as this loads, which shouldn't really take that long. All right, so our number one takeaway is from the Florida Panthers and Columbus Blue Jackets game. So this was the Blue Jackets home opener, which was played on October 15, 2024. The Panthers had won 4-3, but this game was really about honoring the Gaudreau brothers and what they did for the sport of hockey. And, I just had to have this at the number one on my list because the Gaudreau brothers meant so much to the game of hockey, and they had passed away last summer, about 3 months ago at the end of August. They had passed away, so still they will be missed, and it was such a tragic event when that happened. And I know not just the Panthers, not the Panthers, the Blue Jackets and Flames fans, not just those fans were shocked, but like every hockey fan in general was shocked because this was something that has sparked around the hockey world. So, and I think it was nice of what every NHL team did, honoring or wearing the number 13 and number 21 decals on the back of their helmets in honor of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. And also the Blue Jackets have a number 13 patch on their jerseys to honor Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. So I think that was like a nice tribute. They also did a tribute video honoring the Gaudreau brothers along with wearing the patch on their jerseys. So that was another tribute that they did. They played the video honoring the Gaudreau brothers, and they also raised Johnny Gaudreau's number 13 to the rafters after the video. And at the start of the game, the Blue Jackets left the left wing spot vacant in honor of Johnny Gaudreau because that was the position that he played. He played left wing. And at the start of the faceoff, the clock had ran down for 13 seconds in honor of Johnny Gaudreau. So just like they did with Kobe Bryant when Kobe Bryant passed away in 2024 from a helicopter crash, each NBA team, excuse me if I'm stuttering a lot, each NBA team had let 24 seconds run down the clock or played the shot clock because that was the number that Kobe Bryant wore. He wore number 24 along with number 8. So they did the same thing with Johnny Gaudreau, let 13 seconds run down because Johnny Gaudreau wore number 13. The emotional impact, it left a profound impact on, the players and, of course, Johnny Gaudreau's family, Matthew Gaudreau's family, and just the fans in attendance. So there were tears. It was a bunch of sorrow, and it just created a memorial and touching tribute to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. So, yes, that is why I have this at my number one, just because of what the Gaudreau brothers meant so much to the game of hockey. All right, number two, the NHL Global Series in Prague. So the event was on October 4th and October 5th. The Devils swept both of those matchups. The Devils won 4-1 on October 4th. Devils won 3-1 on October 5th. The rest of the NHL teams were still in the preseason, but the Devils and Sabres started their regular season early in Prague. Seamus Casey scored his first NHL goal in the second game. Of course, he's currently down in the minors in the AHL, but this was before that happened. Paul Cotter has scored in both games. He had the game winner in game 2 of this series. And I think one key moment that, has stuck out to me was the Devils' offense and defense. So their offensive depth, defensive depth was what made them spark to, sweeping both of these games in Prague against the Sabres. These two teams face off again on February 2nd, 2025 in Buffalo Overall, the Devils are 7-4-2 of the season with 16 points. Of course, that is subject to change because they have a game tonight in Calgary against the Flames. And, as I'm recording this video right now, there are a few NHL games that are already in action as well. So, yeah. And Buffalo, on the other hand, they are 4-5-1 in the season with 9 points. The Devils are first in the Metropolitan Division, and the Sabres are fifth in the Atlantic. They're actually tied with the Red Wings, Canadians, and Bruins for 9 points. So 3 original 6 teams right there. Identical records as well for the Buffalo Sabres, along with those 3 original 6 teams I just said. Detroit is 4-5-1. Montreal's 4-6-1, and Boston is 4-6-1. All right, number 3, Utah's 5-4 start to their inaugural season. So really, I wanted to highlight their first ever game of the season because this is a new team, no ties to the Arizona Coyotes. Brand new team, brand new franchise, starting off on a clean note, sort of. But they did win at least 3 of the games before losing to the Devils, which gave them their first loss in franchise history. But the home game, their first ever home game, is what really stuck out to me. They won 5-2 against the Blackhawks, so I'm still a little bit upset about that loss. But I feel like we should have won and took that game away from them. Kind of like the Canucks did to the Kraken when the Kraken played their home game and their first ever home game in franchise history, and the Canucks had won. That should have been us to Utah Hockey Club. But hey, it was electrifying at the Delta Center. The fans were on their feet. Really loved the hockey down in Utah. At first, when I first heard that the Coyotes were moving to Utah, I wasn't really thrilled with it because I thought, why Utah? I thought maybe the Coyotes can move to somewhere. Some people were saying Houston. Other people were saying Montreal, even though there's already a hockey team in Montreal, the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know why would you say that. But some people were saying Houston. They were saying other places as well that, really doesn't have an NHL team. But for me, I probably would have moved them to Milwaukee because Milwaukee deserves an NHL team. I know they have the Milwaukee Admirals, but that's AHL, that's minor league hockey. I'm talking about like an actual professional NHL team, like the big leagues, if you know what I mean. So you got the Milwaukee Bucks of the NBA, Milwaukee Brewers of MLB. So why not bring an NHL team to Milwaukee? So that's would have been my move. But hey, the fans in Utah certainly love their hockey. And certainly love how Utah Hockey Club is doing right now. Sort of. I mean, they don't have like a bad record. They're just 5-4-2. But after their first loss in franchise history against the Devils, Utah finished October 2-3-2, and overall they are 5-4-2 of the season. Their first game of November is November 2nd against the Golden Knights, and that game will come on at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. And this is the start of a 4-game road trip for Utah Hockey Club, so this can certainly be interesting. Let's see if they can kick off November with a win in Vegas. Number 4, Cole Caulfield's goal scoring start. I probably should have put more about this, but hey, Cole Caulfield has certainly been unreal. He finished October with 10 goals of the season. He's actually tied with Nico Hischier for first in the league, but like I said, that can change tonight if Nico Hischier scores for New Jersey because the Devils are in action tonight against the Calgary Flames. As I'm recording this video, there are some NHL games that are actually going on right now. But Cole Caulfield, besides Nick Suzuki and some of the other solid young Montreal Canadiens players, he has been a key offensive force for the Canadiens. He's known for his goal scoring abilities, his hockey IQ, etc. And if you guys are not watching my breakout video, I think I posted a breakout video before the season has started. But I said Cole Caulfield was going to have a breakout season, and he is certainly proving that, racking up goals in like every single game. Number 5, Marc-Andre Fleury's possible, and I said possible. I emphasized on possible because I'm not sure if he'll come back for another season. He's most likely to retire, so that's why I said Marc-Andre Fleury's possible final game in Pittsburgh. Of course, the game was on October 29th, 2024. The Minnesota Wild won 5-3. Marc-Andre Fleury made 26 saves on 29 shots faced in the game, and Matt Zuccarello had the game-winning goal in the third period. And I wanted to put this in my top five because Marc-Andre Fleury certainly did a lot with the Pittsburgh Penguins, spent 13 seasons with the team before going to Vegas for the Golden Knights expansion draft. He was drafted number one overall in the first round, 2003 NHL draft by the Penguins. His record with the Penguins in those 13 seasons were 37. He was 375, excuse me if I'm stuttering, 375, 216, and 68 with a 2.58 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. And he played 691 games with the team. He's a three-time Stanley Cup champion with the Penguins. So he won in 2009, 2016, and 2017. And his 375 wins and 2.58 goals against average are most for a goalie in Penguins franchise history. In the playoffs, he was 62-51 with a 2.65 goals against average and a .908 save percentage. So he really will be missed in Pittsburgh when he retires from the NHL, but he might come back for one season. Not really sure, but hey, at least they gave him a nice, little tribute, and he got to stay out on the ice after the game was over. Of course, with Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang, I don't know where Evgeny Malkin went in that game, but before the game had started, all four of them got to take a picture together. Just brought back so many memories. Despite me not being a Penguins fan, but hey, 2010's era for me, was a great era of hockey. So, but I know you got like 2000s, 1990s, 1980s, so old vintage hockey like there. So yeah, but for me growing up, it was 2010s. So yeah. Number 6, Steven Stamkos' return to Tampa. So this game was played on October 28, 2024. This was his first appearance in Tampa on the away side for him, and he was back in Tampa for the first time since signing with the Predators in the offseason. I wanted to see him score in the game. I really did. I was hoping he would get that overtime goal, pull off a Patrick Kane return, and get that overtime game-winning goal against Tampa Bay Lightning. Unfortunately, that did not happen as Nick Paul has scored the game winner for Tampa against Nashville. But looking at Steven Stamkos' stats when he played his first game in Tampa, he had 2 assists in the game. He managed 21 minutes and 2 seconds of time on ice, so about 21 minutes right there overall. He had 6 shots on goal, and he was out there for 22 shifts. Overall, with his stats with the Lightning, he played 16 seasons with the team. He had 1,137 points and 1,082 games played, so 555 goals, 582 assists for 1,137 points and 1,082 games played. He was a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning those back-to-back Stanley Cup years in 2020 and 2021. He was drafted first overall by the Lightning in the 2008 NHL draft in the first round. He was named captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2014, and he's first in goals with 555 and points with, that should say 1,137. I don't know why it says 113, but that should say 1,137 points in franchise history for the Lightning. Number 7, Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar's point sheet. So not really that much to say about this one. These are 2 tremendous players. Avalanche, they got off to a rough start at the start of the season. They went 0-4-0 in those 4 games to start off the season for the Avalanche. Now they're 5-6-0 of the season with 10 points in their division, and they're actually tied with St. Louis right there for those 10 points as well. But it's been Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar putting on the heavy work load for the Avalanche, despite them being out with some of their key players other key players as well, like Gabriel Landeskog, Valeri Nichushkin, and Arturi Lehkonen, and a few more other key players. But Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar certainly have been doing the work for the Avalanche two superstar players for the team. So Nathan McKinnon, he has 18 points in 11 games, 5 goals, 13 assists for 18 points in 11 games. Cale McCarr has 19 points in 11 games, so 4 goals, 15 assists for 19 points in 11 games. And I think he leads defensemen in points as well with 19. So he's certainly him and Nathan McKinnon has certainly been contributing for this Colorado Avalanche team and, trying to work their way back into a playoff spot. So, like we're used to seeing. Number 8, Kings and Senators 8-7 overtime game. So this game was played on October 14, 2024. This was a wild game. A wild game. A wild high-scoring game between these two teams. Of course, it had to end with Josh Norris scoring the game-winning goal 56 seconds into overtime. He actually had a 3-point night in that game, notching 2 goals and 1 assist. Of course, one of them being the game winner. Zach McEvan scored twice for Ottawa. Drake Batherson had a 3-point night for the Sens, notching 1 goal and 2 assists. And Senators captain Brady Tkachuk had a 3-point night, notching only 3 assists. And Jake Sanderson, Tomas Chabot had a 2-point game with 1 goal, 1 assist each. For the Kings side, Alex Lafreniere and Kevin Fiala each scored twice for LA, and Brant Clark and Anze Kopitar had 3 assists. And of course, I think Anton Forsberg was pulled in this game, and Sogard got to come in for him because Linus Ullmark did not play that game, but he certainly has been a backbone goalie for the Sens as well. A total of 15 penalties were taken in this game overall, so 6 penalties in the first period, 5 penalties in the second period, and 4 penalties in the third period. And, of course, there was no penalties in overtime. And as you look right here, let me grab my laser pointer. You can see the shots on goal. Of course, Ottawa had the advantage, out shooting the Kings 41-26. And as you look right here, where my laser pointer is at, you can see other game stats about the team. So, of course, the Senators had a big power play going 4 for 6. Of course, Kings going 3 for 5. Both teams took almost exactly the same penalty minutes. Of course, the Kings took more than that with 19. Ottawa with 17. And this was a physical game as well, with the Senators getting 26 hits and the Kings getting 22 hits. And, yeah, this was just a wild game. And I'm pretty sure the fans got their money's worth watching this game, but this game was probably like one of my, so far, one of my top 10 games of the year. Number 9, the Winnipeg Jets, 9-1 start to the season. So they're currently in action against the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. So as I'm recording this video, they are currently playing right now. The Jets, so far, they went 8-0-0 before losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-4 on Monday, October 28th. And Kyle Connor, he's doing well. He's on a 10-game point streak, 17 points in 10 games played. So 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points. He looks to stretch that point streak to 11 games already, but we'll just have to see if it will happen or does it end at 10 games. Other key players contributing for the team, Josh Morrissey, his two-way skill on defense has been pivotal during this Jets hot start to the season. Adam Lowry, who's now the Jets captain, has been contributing consistently with goals and assists, reinforcing their team leadership on the ice. And their October record places them first place in the Central Division, at least first place in the Central, and they look to secure another playoff spot. They have been doing horrible in the playoffs, but we'll see where they land at this time. Will they be a playoff team at the end of the season or not? Which I'm pretty sure that they will. So we'll just see. Number 10. Of course, I had to put this last. I mean, I know this was a big event, but there's just a lot of other stuff that were, happening. So I know a few people aren't going to be happy with me putting this last, but I really enjoyed the Frozen Frenzy. I'm pretty sure all hockey fans did. This happened on Tuesday, October 22nd. All 32 teams were in action. There were 16 games on the slate, and it was just one epic, great night of hockey overall. The Frozen Frenzy first happened in the 2023-24 season, so that's when it first debuted. Last year, it had like 102 goals. in the Frozen Frenzy for last year. This year it's 98, so a total of 98 goals were scored in the Frozen Frenzy. The first game that kicked it off was the Washington Capitals and Philadelphia Flyers game, which was the first game of a ESPN triple header that day. And of course, the last game was the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights, which was the final game of that ESPN triple header. Their first goal of the Frozen Frenzy was from Nick Dow, which was a short-handed goal in that Capitals win against the Flyers, which was his first goal of the season. And the last goal of Frozen Frenzy was from Ivan Barbashev, which he netted his fifth goal of the season at that time. And bonus one, just thought I'd throw this out there. I know Boston Bruins fans aren't too thrilled about this, but Boston, they ended October 4-6-1. Now, there's still time for the Bruins to turn the season around and get back to being the Boston Bruins that we're known to see. But as of right now, it's just been rough. They're eighth in the Atlantic Division with 9 points. Goals against. Take a look at this, guys. Goals against 42. And we are not used to seeing the Bruins fall to eighth in the Atlantic Division. We're not used to seeing them giving up a bunch of goals in most of their games. Goal differential -13, so again, not good for Boston. They're currently relying on stars like David Pastrnak, who's been performing well, but the secondary scoring has been less productive. Offense hasn't been producing a lot. I know the top players, like I mentioned, are David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, but the depth isn't coming for them. Like the secondary scoring, the offensive depth from the Brewers isn't coming. So they need to adjust their defense, need to adjust whatever is needed for them to do well throughout the season. Like have a great power play, kill a lot of penalties if there are some, and just play your game solid. Like have a solid game through most of your games. And yeah, just have to see how they do. It's not really that much more I can say. There probably is, but I can't really think of it. And then I just thought I added this in here. So this is the NHL standings of teams all in divisions. I just thought I added this because this so far not what most hockey fans were expecting. I mean, nobody expected the Washington Capitals to finish second place in the Metropolitan Division, but they are certainly doing well. They're 7-2-0 of the season with 14 points, and they are perfect on home ice with a 5-1-0 record. So they have just been playing very well, and it's very impressive right there. Nobody expected the Nashville Predators to be seventh in their division, 3-6-1, following off of that 5-1 loss to the Edmonton Oilers, which was a complete joke. And I'm sorry if you're a Predators fan. I do like the Predators myself, but you guys know I'm a Blackhawks fan. But the Predators, I do like the Predators as well. But losing that game against Edmonton without Connor McDavid probably was a joke. I mean, I felt like they could have used that to their advantage to win against the Oilers. And then, like I mentioned, nobody expected Boston to be finishing eighth in the Atlantic Division, 4-6-1. Not the Bruins that we're used to seeing. And then let's see what else. Edmonton is trying to hang in there. They're 5-5-1 of the season with 11 points. So trying to hang in there and, get back into a playoff spot. But again, there's still time for all these teams to turn their seasons around. So we'll just have to see what happens. And then this is the standings as you look at it from a wild card spot. So if the playoffs started today, Tampa will face Toronto. Capitals will face Carolina. The Panthers would probably face the Rangers. I probably might be wrong on that. And the Devils will probably face the Blue Jackets. Stars will face the Wild. Kings will face the Canucks. I think they met in the playoffs before. Jets will face. I might be wrong on this. I might be wrong. Jets will probably face either Utah Hockey Club or Calgary, and then Vegas will face either Utah Hockey Club or Calgary. So that is what the playoffs will look like if they started today. All right, and that is basically it, guys. So you guys know what to do. Leave a comment down below. Let me know you guys' thoughts on this list. What are your top 10 takeaways from October? So just share your thoughts. Make sure leave a comment down below. Share your thoughts. Share this video. Make sure you subscribe to the TG Hockey channel. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I am posting daily on there. I'm putting out episodes daily. It comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. Central Time to 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time for Eastern Time. It comes out from 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time to 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you're living in Pacific Time, it's going to come out from 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time to 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time. So it just depends on where you live at. So make sure you are following that podcast because I'm putting out episodes daily, and I would really appreciate it if you guys follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. It is available on all your podcast stream platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Also, share these videos. Spread the word about this channel and the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. And also, I will create a NHL Global Series recap video following the conclusion of Game 2 of the NHL Global Series between the Panthers and the Stars. The Panthers did win today by a score of 6-4, and the Finnish Stars certainly came out in that game as well. Alexander Barkov scoring in his hometown. Esa Lindell had a goal, and it was just a great game overall, and I can't wait for game 2. I think each of these teams will take one game. Panthers did win today 6-4. Pretty sure the Dallas Stars might take the second one, but we'll just have to see. But anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time.